Hi, this is David Pearl. I'm the inventor of Street Wisdom, and I'm also known as the meeting doctor. I've done a lot of work in business in meetings. I've sat in lots of meetings. Why, you might ask? Oh, it's fascinating. One of the things I wanted to suggest to you today, though, is that those of you who have meetings this week, and I'm sure that's many of you, you might want to think, instead of having a meeting in a office like the one behind me, but that we might use a different space. We might use the street to do meetings. And let me show you why you might want to do that and how. Let's go. I don't know how many times I've heard the phrase, we've got to sit down and sort this out, or sit down and look at it. And it's curious to me that people feel that sitting down in a, white walled glass and steel room is the best place for, well, doing anything really. But certainly if you've got important meetings, high stakes meetings, why not do them where there's a bit of stimulation, where there's a bit of life? Why don't you step out of the office and do them in the street? Street like this. So, a street meeting is clearly going to be a bit tricky for 12 people, although I do have to ask you, why do you have 12 people in a meeting? Do you really want to have 12 people, or is it just something you got used to? But anyway, certainly if you've got 1 or 2 people to meet, then you can do the meeting in the street. Why would you want to do that? Well, one immediate reason is you're not sitting opposite each other face to face. And why is that helpful? Well, very often if you're trying to do creative work or resolve issues, it's very helpful not confronting each other head on, but standing side by side, looking into the future together. So another reason people like to sit in quiet surgical rooms without any noise is they think that distraction's a problem. Well, certainly it can be sometimes, but for many of the meetings that you want, I would suggest that distraction is actually stimulation. That in the average street, you're going to be surrounded by all sorts of stimulus, particularly because for most of us, this is where our customers actually live. They don't live in the weird office buildings like the ones behind me. They live out here. It's where we meet, it's where we talk, it's where we shop. And if your business has got anything to do with people, you could well find that doing a meeting in the street is a great backdrop for your thinking. We like to say at Street Wisdom that answers are everywhere. And what we mean by that is that though it's typical for us to try and solve a problem by going inside our heads and thinking, actually if you turn your sight outwards and your senses outwards, you'll often see things that will stimulate your thinking and provide answers, not just in terms of the things around you, but also the people around you. I've been thinking about how we grow Street Wisdom, and I've just noticed this sign here. You might enjoy this. This is just behind my head. I don't know if you can see it, but it says Team Members Wanted. And that makes me think about the membership that we've got for this non-profit and how we develop it. So again, there's a little bit of a mental prompt there. There are, I'm sure you know, physiological reasons why being in motion, physically being in motion, helps you think in a way that being stuck stationary in front of a laptop probably doesn't. One of the reasons for it, by the way, is that your mind isn't just located here in your head, but it actually is distributed throughout your nervous system, which for most of us includes our body. Most of us have bodies that are intelligent, and as you move them, they aid your thinking. They are actually doing some thinking. So that when people say at the weekends they'll go off and walk or ride or cycle or whatever, it isn't just a way of removing stress, it's actually the movement of your body actually helps you think. Another thing that people complain about in meetings is lack of decisiveness. Things don't get decided. And one technique you might want to try if you want to speed up your decision making is simply to set an arbitrary goal, like the third lamppost ahead, and you say, we're going to have made a decision by the time we get to that lamppost. And there's something about creating urgency and also a physical goal that stimulates people to go, okay, now we decide. Another reason you might want to take a meeting out onto the streets is if there's an element of potential confrontation in it. As I was saying before, walking side by side helps to take away some of the sort of animal aggression that can come when you are nose to nose with somebody else. Walking side by side signals, we're in this together. And also people will often say things if they don't have to meet your eye. So by walking with somebody, especially if you've got a tricky situation to discuss, I think you'll find that ambling along, that person and yourself could find it less uncomfortably confronting, and you can get more done. And I'm going to say a sort of final thing to think about is a lot of people are coping with stress and sense of overload. If you can schedule just one meeting a day that's out in the streets, you're going to be getting fresh, or in London's case, fresh-ish air. You're going to get some exercise. It's a way of creating a sort of like a fire break in the busyness. You can get a lot done, but your body is telling you, actually, I'm away from work. I think increasingly we want to be doing work that doesn't feel like work. And when you're in a more activated, more sort of playful mood, less stationary, I think you'll find the quality of the work actually improves. So that's it. Do at least one meeting in the street a day this week and see how it works. Enjoy.